Hi everybody and welcome to the Truck King YouTube channel. Now this week we've got this beauty right here. That is the 2020 GMC Sierra AT4, fit with the 3-liter Duramax diesel. But maybe even cooler than that, this truck has the CarbonPro package, which means it's got a carbon fiber bed, and you know we're going to put it to the test. So in this video, we're going to tow a 7,000 pound trailer. We're going to do a 0 to 60 run with that weight hooked up. We'll haul some payload, we'll test that bed, and you can see we've already got the truck muddy, so you know we're hitting the hydro line. Let's get to it. So let's take a walk around on this AT4 now, and we got to start with the power plant. So our test truck is fit with the 3-liter inline-6 Duramax diesel. This power plant's making 277 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque at just 1,500 RPM, and all of that power is sent through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Now, because this is the AT4, that means that it's the off-road focused GMC model, and it comes with some parts to make sure you're ready to go off-road. So you're getting those red tow hooks down there in the front, of course, for recovery. You're getting a 2-inch lift, so the entire truck just sits higher. Big deal on this truck right there. Goodyear, Wrangler, Duratrac tires. Those are a great set of all-terrain off-road tires wrapped around 18-inch wheels. Now, another thing I want to show you, this badge right here. This is the CarbonPro package, which means that we have that carbon fiber bed in the back end, and I'm excited to show you around it. So CarbonPro, you're getting this bed, but it comes with a whole bunch of different stuff. It comes with a whole bunch of interior options and luxury options, and we'll get to that in a minute. But first, let's focus back here. So first of all, we always say carbon fiber, but that's actually a simplification. What this is carbon fiber reinforced plastic, CFRP. And now you might be asking right away, why would you want it? And of course, General Motors' answer is longevity. Over a steel bed that might rust, or aluminum bed that, might not be that strong, this should last a long, long time. It's never gonna rust. It shouldn't degrade in the sun or the weather, nothing like that. So again, according to GM, it's gonna last forever. We can't exactly test the longevity, but we can test the durability as it is today. And another thing we can test is how slippery it is, because that's one of our biggest complaints with CarbonPro. When we originally saw this bed, it was a totally slick surface, and right away we said, this makes no sense. Everything's going to be totally slippery. GM said, don't worry, we're going to put some texture to it. Now I'll show you a close-up of the texture right here, and they did do it, but it's just not enough. When you load things into this bed, it just doesn't have very much grip, sort of like a spray-in bed liner would. Now, if you just get a steel bed with no bed liner, it's gonna be more slippery than this. But, most trucks these days have bed liners, and compared to a bed liner, this is going to be more slippery. One of the other good things I'll say about it is you don't lose any functionality at all from the standard GM bed. You still get 3 tie downs in every single corner at 3 different heights. I love that. You get your handle over here to help you climb up into the bed. There's bed lighting back here. There's a plug in the bed. And one added feature, there are actually cutouts up there in the front for motorcycle tires. So if you're hauling a bike, you put it in the middle one. If you're hauling 2 bikes, you put them on the outside. And then there's actually tie downs up there too for your motorcycle. So there's a lot going on back here with CarbonPro, and I think what's really going to make the decision for most people is, what does it cost? So let's look at that now. Let's look over the build sheet now and check out the pricing. So this is a 2020 Sierra 1500 AT4 all-wheel drive, and here are all your standard features. AT4 is already, pretty far up the trim walk, so you are getting quite a few different standard features, one of which I glossed over there, but right there, that multi-pro tailgate is now standard on this AT4. That's pretty cool, although you can delete it if you don't want it. Anyways, our base price for this vehicle, $63.98, and of course all of these prices are Canadian. And for all the US folks, I know a lot of you have been asking for US pricing. I will include the US price when I'm done looking at this build sheet. Now we get here to the CarbonPro edition, $4,790, but here's the tricky thing. GM doesn't actually break out the price for just the bed, so we don't know what just the bed is worth, because when you order CarbonPro, you're also getting all of this stuff. Universal home remote, sliding power window, the better infotainment system, the better stereo, wireless charging. So GM has kind of made it into a bit of a luxury package. If you go for CarbonPro, you're getting all of these options along with it. Now the Duramax 3 liter is a $3,245 option. We have the tech package on this truck. We have a couple other standalone options, bringing our total to $77,818. Oh yeah, you can see the rear end there. We have the 323 rear end. Now that you've seen CarbonPro, everybody, I have to show you this super cool Easter egg that shows up on every single one of these beds. And yes, I am currently underneath the Sierra, but that's because this is the only really good place to get a shot of this. And now I found it, everybody. There it is, right there. You can read it, imprinted right in the bottom of the Carbon, Connors Way. Now that is in honor of Tim Connors. This project actually started back in 2010. It's been a decade in the making. And when it started, a man by the name of Tim Connors was leading the charge. Well, in 2015, sadly, Connors passed away in a sudden motorcycle accident. So the current Chevy chief engineer, Tim Herrick, he made sure that all of these beds have Connors Way to make sure that we know that they did it Tim Connors Way. That's definitely pretty cool. So we're gonna oh, what are you doing with the concrete block?
Well, remember when Ford brought out the aluminum bed and then GM was going on about how steel was better? They did that commercial where they dropped the toolbox. I don't have a toolbox.
Looks pretty clean to me.
Yeah, and you got a little bit of a mark there, but hell's bells, yeah. And by the way, I just want to assure our viewers that no concrete blocks were hurt during this demonstration. One of the things I noticed about the way these panels are formed is, of course, you've got these inserts here which would let you create a second deck using 2x6s. You find those in some trucks, but what you don't find are these little indents here, which again would say a 2x6 would let you segregate the box front to back to keep something from sliding forward. And as we've already mentioned, it's a slick bed, so a board right across here will keep whatever you've got at the back at the back.
So this multifunction tailgate is now standard on AT4, so of course I gotta show this off to you too. So you get the two different buttons here. The top button controls just the top section of the tailgate. Gotta open it up there. Now, I like this tailgate more than Ram's new multifunction, that split tailgate, because this GM actually gives you a number of different functionalities. First, you have this. This is just a great kind of workstation. It's at a really comfortable height for writing things, or maybe if you're cutting wood or something. Then you can pop this guy up, and suddenly you have a load stopper. So if you have something that's extremely long and you need to kind of leave the top part of your tailgate open, you can do that, and that'll help to keep it in. So then you can close up your load stopper. Now, of course, if you just hit the bottom button, it's just a standard tailgate, no extra functionality there. But you can also peel up this load stopper like that. So if you got some long wood or something and the tailgate's open, you can stop things from sliding out. Now, finally, we go like this. We hit the top button and then the bottom button. Oh, other order. I did it backwards. You hit the bottom button, then the top button, and then Mr. Step goes like that. You're able to fold out your load stopper, and suddenly that becomes a step for getting up into the Sierra's bed, and it really does make it quite a bit easier to climb up here. Now, plus, not only is there the step, but there's also this pretty neat little handle over here, so that locks in, and that's just going to help you as you're climbing up and out of the truck. Again, on AT4, this is now standard, and I think it's a pretty great feature. And if you don't want to use it, you don't have to. You can just use it like a regular tailgate. I think that's kind of the key with these things. Now, the only downside to GM's tailgate here is you cannot use that step configuration when you have a hitch. GM even went as far to put a sticker on the truck to remind you about it. You can see it right here. So you can't leave your hitch in, but that's not too big a deal. And like I said, I'm a big fan of this tailgate. Now let's look at the payload story. And of course, we are going to consult the stickers on the door jamb. And GM has its pretty brilliant towing and payload sticker right down here. So let's get her focused up, and you can see that our max payload on this truck is 1,465 pounds. Max tow rating, conventional tow rating, you're talking about 9,000 pounds. That gives us 900 pounds of tongue weight. And you could also tow a 7,000 pound gooseneck with this truck as well. That's a great sticker that gives you all the information for your specific truck, and it includes your VIN right there. Okay, we're on the road now, and as you can see, we've got our barrels back there for payload. And the first thing I actually want to show off right now is this rear camera mirror, which is in our AT4. So as you can see, when it's the regular mirror, all you see is barrels. Your view behind you is totally blocked. But flip the switch, and boom, there's your camera. And the way it's positioned, that camera is right between the two barrels, so you get a perfect view behind you. Now I can also show you, there are some controls on this camera, so you can zoom in or zoom out. I had it zoomed in, so you could kind of avoid the barrels a bit. And then you can also go up and down, so if you wanted to go up for some reason, or down, you can do that. So, you know what, the rear camera mirror is a bit annoying to get used to, right Dad? I mean, it's weird when you first turn it on, right?
I mean, one of the things in a truck, any guy that's driven a truck, you tend to use your side mirrors way more because lots of times that mirror is blocked. But hey, listen, the more views I got, the safer I am. So exactly. What the hell?
It's weird to get used to, but in this specific, usage case, this is the perfect example for why you would want to have this rear camera.
So let's talk about payload and about how she's driving. Rated at 1,465 pounds, so once again, 1,000 pounds in the bed, and with Steve and I in here, yeah, we're at the limit. And I've been giggling about these limits because I can feel that this truck is capable of significantly more. Not 10 pounds or 500. I feel if I put another 1,000 in here, I think it would still feel all right. These numbers that the manufacturers settle on for payload, they're not scientific. I don't know, they're more legal.
It's important when we test them though, because we tested some trucks where the payload number actually felt, maxed out at that number. So it definitely is important to test them because, yeah, they fall all over the place. Every manufacturer rates them themselves. But yeah, to your point here in the GMC, this thing feels super confident. Might even ride a little bit better now that it's got the 1,000 pounds in the back, but not squishy or any of those kind of scary terms. Everything about this truck with the payload is just confident. Okay, we're back in from the drive. Let's measure the squat. So the barrels are still in the back right there. We go to the center of the tire, and we're looking at 37 3/4 inches. Yeah, 37 3/4. Now we'll peel the barrels off. We'll see how much she raises up. And the truck is free, unladen, so let's go ahead and measure once again. So we come back to the center of our tire here, and I once again drop my tape measure like a pro. There we go. And no real surprise here. That is 39 3/4 inches. Maybe 39 7/8, but 39 3/4 basically, which means that we're looking at 2 inches of squat here, which is actually a fairly common number you'll notice with most half-ton pickup trucks, and you can see how it compares right here on our results board. Okay, we're just backing into the trailer now, which means I can show you the camera system. So here's the default view. You get that overhead and the rear view. This is the upgraded camera system from GM, so you really do get a lot of views. There's your nose view, so you can also see out the front. That's a top-down nose, top-down tail. That's a really cool view for backing into stuff and getting really, really close to it. Then you get this awesome 3D little truck, which shows you exactly where your truck is. Then you can look down the sides of your truck. Again, really cool for parking really close to something, getting close to a curb, or just watching where you're going, right? You can see right down the sides. These are your dynamic trailering guidelines, so you can turn them on and off. We do have a Chimsel camera here, so you can check what's going on back there in your bed. And then finally, you have the hitch zoom camera, so when you're doing your last couple feet of hooking up, that really helps you to make sure you're right on that trailer. Okay, we got our 7,000 pounds hooked up. You can see it back there, and we're gonna do our 0 to 60 run. So hopefully we'll find the satellites quickly here. Okay, ready for the race. Hit it. Oh, the diesel laid down some rubber there. Go, baby, go, baby. Of course, we're in tow haul mode. We're looking for 100K. There it is, 100. Ooh, 16.6 seconds. So I was curious, everybody. We tested a GMC Sierra diesel already, although that was the elevation package, so not the off-road stuff, and it ran in the 16s too. So very similar despite the lift and the tires. But now you can see how this truck stacks up on the leaderboard. Okay, time for our towing loops, and of course we're going to reset the fuel economy so we can tell you guys what it is. And there she is, zeroed out. Time to hit the road. So you guys just saw the numbers right there. This AT4 ran the exact same 16.6 seconds 0 to 100 time as the other Sierra diesel we had. Now, of course, you know, same truck, same engine, same rear end. The differences here are that the AT4 has a 2-inch lift and these Duratrack tires, and I kind of expected the tires to slow it down a little bit, but not even a little bit. And you know what, you just can't talk enough about all the torque that comes out of this diesel. We laid serious rubber down on the line, and again, that's with a set of all-terrain tires on asphalt, so you know, you're putting real power into the ground. It gets the trailer moving no problem. Shifts out of the 10-speed are smooth. I kind of can't say enough for this powertrain. How do you feel about it over there?
I've driven this diesel a few times now, as well as the diesels from the competition. And I really think it has something to do with this inline 6. The torque that comes out of it, the no vibration, super quiet. I think of the three, this is definitely my favorite.
And it's the great point, because the other two are V6s. GM is the only one who went I6. And it's probably worth mentioning, GM is also the only one that went clean sheet. This engine was designed for this truck. Of course, FCA tapped their Italian subsidiary. Ford is using basically an old Land Rover engine that they had from their Land Rover days. So, you know, those engines, they work well, but they weren't designed for those applications. This engine, ground up for this truck, and it seems like it. It's such a great fit. And yeah, buttery smooth is the best way, I think, to describe this power.
And you got to give GM one more prop, which is, I talked to the engineers. The reason most people go with the V6 configuration is because of the engine bay size. When this truck was redesigned, they purposely stretched the engine bay to accommodate the length of an i6. So they really knew what they wanted, and they went to the extreme to make sure that it would fit.
That's cool. And so now we've got the 7000 back there. Like we said, power is no issue. And the tow rating on this truck is 9,000 pounds. So we're getting close to the rating. However, it feels solid, good suspension. It's really not squatting too much in the rear end. Maybe a little lift out of the nose. Do you feel that a little bit?
Tiniest little bit.
Yeah.
Not enough that I could really care.
Yeah.
And besides, I've always said GM steering, very responsive. It feels good right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I'm feeling different with this package is I'm just hearing a little more road noise out of these tires.
Yes, you have to say that about the Duratrax. Great all-terrain tire, but they're noisy on road. One of the noisiest tires you get, you know, stock from the factory, actually. All right, back in from our loops now, and bam, there's our fuel economy, 13.2 liters per 100, which is pretty dang impressive, towing a 7,000 pound trailer, and that has everything to do, of course, with this diesel. Now I will go over and switch up the units for our US folks so you guys can see the MPG here. And we are talking about 17.8 MPG over exactly 22 miles. And just a reminder, those loops, it's a mix of driving about 60 to 80 kilometers an hour on dirt roads and then about 100K on a paved road. And you guys have been asking in the comments for unloaded fuel economy, a totally fair request considering most of these trucks spend their lives empty. So now I'll show you a quick unloaded fuel economy run for this diesel. And there it is. When you're talking about empty fuel economy, this truck with this diesel is really good. We've done 9.5 liters per 100 over 284K. That's a lot of highway drive, but a lot of secondary highways doing about 80 to 100 kilometers per hour. And for the US folks, I can switch over the units, bringing us to 24.7 mpg. This diesel is really impressive when it comes to fuel economy. Okay, everybody, we're coming into the mud pit now on the hydro line, and we know the truck's gonna do good. I've already tested a Trail Boss up here. That's basically the same truck, just the Silverado, of course, not the Sierra. Couple differences though. Our truck today has the Goodyear Wrangler Duratrax on it. The Silverado we tested on the channel had Goodyear Trail Runners. And then the other big difference, gas versus diesel. That was a 6.2 V8. This is a 3-liter diesel. So let's hop in now and talk about which one of these engines feel better. Now in the mud, you kind of want wheel speed. So usually you'd stick with the gas engine to get those wheels really churning. But with these tires especially, I should be able to creep through this pit pretty slowly. Oof, there's a rock back there, but not bad. And that's the key. Yeah, the Duratrax, man. The Duratrax have so much grip. There's no momentum required. That's really the key in the mud, right? Is usually building up your momentum. Yes, I've just been able to keep my foot at one steady, constant pressure, and this truck just slowly crawled right through that stuff, no issue. And here's the advantage of the diesel. Oh, here's, right here, you'll see it. Yes! Really beautiful throttle modulation. I only had to just dig into that pedal ever so slightly to get it to come up and over those rocks right there. Whereas in a gas engine, you're digging in a little bit further, and then when you finally do get up and over the obstacle, you get that kind of jump. The diesel at those slow speeds doing the crawling kind of stuff absolutely feels more in control, and you just feel like you don't have to put that much into the engine to get that much back out. And that's of course the key with having all that low end torque. Okay, coming back down the hill now, always a great chance to test out hill descent control. And if this system is anything like the system was in the Chevy, it's going to be very, very slow and very, very controlled. So we stop on the hill here. We got hill descent turned on. And yes, there it is. And it is just like in that Trail Boss. It's absolutely slow and controlled. A lot of these systems, when you first kind of come up over the hill, it lets the truck run for a second and then catches it. This system just absolutely from the get-go has total control over this truck. Nicely done. Dropping back into the mud. Oh man, it's like no drama whatsoever. Whatsoever. Oh, there was a bit of digging there. Okay, I'll take it back. There was a bit of digging in. Oh, but she's going good. Yes, yes, yes. Keep on chugging. And the 2-inch lift, despite it being that block lift in the rear end, it definitely makes the clearance here a lot better. And even 2 inches off-road and thick stuff like that makes a big difference. Well, we're coming to the end of this one, everybody, so let's quickly summarize this Sierra. I think with the 3-liter diesel, this, once again, just like that Silverado, was a great jack-of-all-trades truck. If you're towing a trailer or hauling payload, you have tons of capability, tons of smooth power, and then when you go off-road, this thing is not half bad. Now, that carbon fiber bed is a really interesting addition, too, and overall, I think if it's gonna last as long as GM says, I like the idea of it. So, everybody, that's it for this video. Why don't you go below, leave us a comment, making sure you let us know what you think of this Sierra. While you're down there, hit like and hit subscribe, and then come right back to Truck King to see what we're testing next. See ya.
Action!
Okay, and here comes 3rd-generation truck journalist Otis, my little guy. Otis, what truck is this? Do you remember what truck it is?
An ATV.
No, not an ATV. It's a GMC. Can you say that?
GMC
Sierra.
Sierra.
Good job. You'll be reviewing it in no time. Okay, let's get out of the bugs.